I wish it was just like an instant. I can just press the button and we can get going. But it takes about 10 seconds. Sorry about that. I usually have this set up beforehand. All right, that's up. Starting the recording. Let's do this. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Vinny D'Amato, Chair of the BU Student Government Senate. Today is April 5th, 2021, and welcome to Senate 21. As always, starting off with roll call. That I also don't have up for some reason. Where is it? Here it is. And also just harking back to the question of the week for this week, what is the largest animal that you think you could take in a fight? And to answer this question, we have Evan Toplensky, Lauren Hagee, Shireen Bakre, Mehar Hora, and Juliana Torres. Now I know Evan isn't here today, and I know Jess is proxying, so Jess, if you want to take that, by all means, go ahead. If not, don't worry. So, starting off, as always, Savannah Majarwitz.
Present.
Evan Toplensky.
Present, proxying. No, I'm quite all right. I don't think I could fight. I don't want to fight any animals, personally.
That's a good answer. Bella Killy Stone, sorry.
Present.
Bella Newell.
Present.
Dhruv Kapadia.
Present.
Hassan Faruqi.
Present.
Janez James.
Present.
Jessica Zhang.
Present.
Spencer Kwan.
Present by proxy.
Lauren Hagee.
Present. And since you didn't specify, I'm going to go with in a verbal fight, I could beat any of them. So blue whale.
I like that response. That was good. That was a good, I like that. Nabia Kachurli.
Present.
Shahaf Dam.
Present.
Sui Moowo.
Present.
Vivian Dai.
Present.
Sung Yu Guan.
Present.
Brandon Yu.
Present.
Richard Siegelman.
Present. Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button.
It's all good. William Harrison.
Present.
Amanda Schneider.
Present.
Olivia Herr.
Present.
Sophie Jin.
Present.
Owen Kelly.
Present.
Maha Noor.
Present.
Shireen Bakre.
Present. And I feel like I have the audacity to like fight any animal that comes my way, but a second like a spider or a weird bug pulls up, I'll lose. Like hands down, I'll leave. So a spider. That's it. That's as big as I'm getting.
A valiant opponent, and also really creepy at times too. I feel you on the whole spider. Cassidy Balboa.
Present.
Joanna Shea.
Present.
Noah Greif.
Present.
Amy Luo.
Present.
Michael Leone.
Present.
Jaylene Ramirez.
Present.
Selena Chen.
Present.
Natalie Casley-Wall.
Here.
Jay Hal Jin.
Present.
Brianna Cole.
Present.
Mehar Hora.
Present. And I think that I could fight humans twice my size, but like animals just scare me, especially snakes. Like, oof, like no, I would run the other way or surrender.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw a big snake in my backyard when I was younger, so I'm scarred forever. I feel you on that. John Michael Aracena.
Present.
Isabella Townsend.
Present.
Samantha Casas.
Present.
Celine Machin.
Present.
Shayna Evans.
Here.
Keely Massini.
Present.
And last but not least, Juliana Torres.
Present. And I would like to think that I could definitely wrestle an alligator. Me being from
yes.
South Florida, me being from South Florida, I think I've seen it a couple times. I think I could do it. So that's my animal.
I'd love to see that fight one day. No, I'm not gonna say. You got this. I was gonna say something like, wait a second. No, I have to be professional. All right. So with that, we actually have full attendance this week. So we got 42 of 42. So that puts us at a supermajority of 29 votes and a simple majority of 22 votes. So going through the agenda quickly, we have the president's address followed by budget update, academic affairs update, and then the representation oversight committee proposal from last week, and then open forum. So Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. First, I do, Vinny, my condolences on behalf of everyone else. Very sorry. Second, I do want to echo things Vinny had said. Many senators here and many people who just attended Senate last week had reached out to a bunch of the e-board members, reached out to Vinny, reached out to Shashi. You know, we debate issues here and we, create impact, and that is the point of Senate. It is to debate. If we agreed on everything here, then we wouldn't be doing our jobs. But I do really want to emphasize the respect factor. I know everybody here is respectful in all ways, and I know, Vinny had said something that I do want to echo here. We don't debate the personalities; we debate the issues, and that is super important. We have this meeting, April 12th meeting, and April 26th is our last meeting. And we can make it through, and we can make it through with a lot of great impact and a lot of great debate. I emphasize it. The meetings that ended in 5 minutes weren't as fun as the ones that, we get to debate the issues. So let's finish strong. I have a couple updates here. Last week, I got a couple questions regarding if it won't cut it and a point of contact. I had reached out to Dean Battolino to ask him regarding this. And he was wondering if with this document that I will send Vinny to relay, if you have any questions regarding if it won't cut it, he will try to get those answered to you. This document is rather simple. You can click on it, Vinny, if you don't mind just putting it in the chat. If you want to just open it, it's really simple. You don't need to put your name there. I'm not asking for a name. I'm not asking for an email address. He will hopefully get these answers for you, and you will be able to get your questions answered. It's rather simple, and I hopefully will have those answers to you at my next president's address. So, this can be an ongoing document. If you guys can just put your questions down, if you have any by the end of the week, that would be great. I don't want to bother Dean B on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's just easier for him to get answers further in advance. Next thing, end of year awards are going to be ordered, being ordered now. I'm just, going through the final motions with the company Crown Awards. The pickup will be at the end of year event, which I'll address in a second, or the week after. We're going to coordinate with the SAO office, like Student Activities Office or Dean of Students Office, for you to come pick it up from there. So it's hassle-free, and it's all safe and social distance. Everybody here will get an award. We had said about a couple of weeks ago that if your name was on the SG roster, then you should be on the list for awards. So that's no problem. Regarding the end of year celebration, we just had to make a quick date change from the Friday, April 23rd to April 22nd. I apologize for the last minute notice a couple weeks in advance, but this is to ensure that we can have some sort of hybrid event rather than a virtual event. I know we're all looking for an in-person event here. So we're going to try our best. Right now, there's 40 spots in person, but if there is more interest there, and that's going to be taking place in the GSU Metcalf large room. If there's more interest, then we're going to try to get another space as well, and we'll be able to connect the two rooms through virtual activity. So it's going to be taking place April 22nd. It's a Thursday. The events will start at 6 p.m. I hope you all can make it. I know class schedules are tough, but I hope you all can make it. Regarding meals and stuff like that, an Eventbrite will be coming out within the next, hopefully 24 to 48 hours. It will be sent to your email, and it will be sent in the Slack. If you fill it out and you elect to get a meal, you're going to get a packaged meal. Whether you're in person or virtual, you'll be able to pick up your meal from the GSU, and those meal options will be within the Eventbrite as well, hopefully. But yeah, that's pretty much the information I have. So just to recap, the FA Won't Cut It document, if you could fill it out. End of year awards, pick up at the event or the week after from either the SAO or Dean of Students Office. I'll get that information soon. And then the end of year celebration from April 23rd now to April 22nd at 6 p.m. It will be, hopefully, it will be a hybrid event. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me? All right, Vinny, I'll toss you the floor. Thank you again.
Thank you, Oliver. All right. Budget update. Madam Vice President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vinny. Hi, guys. Just to jog, or I forgot to say hi, or happy Monday. I wrote that down because I wanted to make sure, because my Monday has been quite bad. But just to jog everyone's memory, the last budget update, unfortunately, there was really no update because there was no budget. And I come to tell you guys today that, again, I still don't have a budget. It's okay, though. As with before, you can still submit purchase requests and it's still encouraged. But also, there haven't been any purchase requests, so there's not really many updates on that end. Today, I had Neha, the Director of Environmental Affairs, reach out inquiring about a reimbursement for some boxes for a clothing drive, as well as other initiatives she has planned, and also to 16K. My apologies, I just saw your email right before this meeting, and I'll be getting back to you guys about that soon. But considering those are like the most interesting things that have happened to me this semester, I decided to tell you guys about it. But with that being said, thank you guys for your time. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you more. I wish I could, but I could take any questions if you guys have any.
Going once, going twice. All right, with that, thank you, Madam Vice President. Moving on to the next point in the agenda, which is the academic affairs update. So just letting you all know, this is going to be a little bit longer than normal. And the only reason why that's allowed is because this is a report and not a proposal. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. Arthon has come through and gave us a very detailed report. So everyone, please give him your time and attention. Arthon, the floor is yours.
Yes. Can I share screen actually, or?
Vinny, you're on mute.
You're muted.
Thank you. You're now co-host Arthon. I will stop sharing mine and allow you to share yours.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, this is not it. Hey, everybody. So can you see my screen?
It's loading currently. There we go.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. My name is Arthon Bhatt. I am the Director of Academic Affairs, if you don't know. So as per the Constitution, every year I am slated to give a academic community health report. And so over the past couple weeks and months, I've been gathering some information from administration and sort of formulating this report to present to you in terms of how students are doing, and it touches up on a little bit of aspects about campus, such as study spaces, etc. So just to give a little bit of an overview, essentially, like I said before, I had gathered administrative data from surveys, 3 of them to be exact. I'm going to present those findings, and then I'm going to break down the entire year of initiatives for my department, and then I'll just conclude in terms of an outlook. So to begin, so the 3 studies that we're going to look at were conducted by administrators. So this was not conducted from my department. And the reason we opted not to do that is given the overhead with COVID and kind of how I structured the department, I didn't feel like I had the proper team to send out a survey through student government. But through talking with Provost Kennedy and Provost McGuire, in the provost's office, they said that they had data for me that was sufficient enough to present to you. And one of them is the study space usage. So that's within the study space app, how often students are using the study spaces across campus. A first year How Are You survey sent out to all freshmen. And finally, a bigger survey that was conducted last fall on student experience with LFA. So to begin, I'll go over the study space usage. So essentially this was taken, this data is from like October to December. It is kind of a little bit of an arbitrary time period. but this is from the first semester. So listed in that table, you guys can see that there's those are all the buildings on campus that are available to be booked and the number of rooms within them. Yaki and GSU and Mugar obviously are the big three. That's where most students end up going. Some other places such as CGS and psychology were a bit more, were utilized a bit less. And this is just a breakdown in terms of how many reservations were made during that time period. And they plan on collecting this data again and publishing it to the public for this semester as well. And one thing that was interesting is that we found that almost a fifth of students only reserved it one time, meaning that students use the app once, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then they stopped either going on campus to study. And unfortunately, one thing that I think it might be important and a key takeaway here is part of this may be due to the fact that the app itself is not the greatest app. I don't know if anybody here has used it, but I don't particularly like how the Study Space app has been designed. So I think that's an initiative somebody could maybe take on here. If this is something that admin wants to continue for the fall, to improve this type of reservation system and help in terms of getting kids into these sort of spaces and out of their rooms and, making sure that people are back on campus. So the second survey was the How Are You survey. This is essentially a survey that was conducted only to freshmen. I'm a bit, I guess, from my perspective, the question was very simple. It was, how are you doing? And it's, I need help, I'm okay, and I'm great. And the reason, according to administration for that, from what I gathered, is they didn't want to overcomplicate the survey. What they really wanted to test was this question right here, which was for the people who said they needed help, they were trying to gauge what areas in campus was the university, sort of lacking in terms of how they were performing. So academics in general in the fall versus the spring, in the fall, it was a lot more, and that was actually the most, troublesome issue for students. Whereas in the spring, I think part of this drop could be due to the fact that we got a little bit more used to being online. And with that, we probably learned a little bit better on time management, but there's still 33% of respondents. So 1 out of every 3 students still said that they were struggling with their academics. So there was an improvement, and it wasn't a sizable percentage of 25%, but there's still more to be done. A couple of these other areas that you notice, such as connecting on campus, career advice, academic success skills, I believe that is defined as like studying and et cetera, finances, those types of situations haven't really changed. And I do think this is a good indicator that despite being, I guess, another semester into COVID, that there was still a lot of, issues that the university has had in terms of how they've handled a lot of these specific issues. And I think it does highlight more action on our part to go out and do something about it. So moving on to the third survey, this is the survey of student and faculty experience with Learn From Anywhere. I'm not going to go deep dive into faculty. I'm going to try to keep this focused on the students, but just to briefly go over how faculty responded. So the response rate was 19.5%. 65% of them were teaching a course in LFA hybrid format, and it was pretty split down the line as to how satisfied they were. It seems that 43% of them were satisfied and 41% were extremely dissatisfied. So essentially half of our professors enjoyed LFA and they liked the experience, and the other half hated it. So it's kind of hit and miss as you could guess. The biggest challenges are some of the ones that I think everybody sees in class all the time, engaging with us as students and getting people to come into class, sort of balancing that online struggle with like audio and video difficulties and trying to, teach to in-class people and remote students at the same time. So, these types of issues, I think we've all experienced ourselves even as students. So no surprises there from my end, but definitely want to hear you guys' feedback. So for the students, I'm actually going to switch over to, oh, it's not letting me escape. I'm going to switch over to a different PDF. So this is a summary report of the students. And the reason I wanted to go over this full report is because I felt like it was much more interesting to go over. I'll try to keep it, I'll try to run down it decently fast, but you guys also have access to this, I believe, correct, Vinny? You did send this to everybody. So hopefully it's not any significantly new information. You guys know what LFA is. This is just a breakdown of colleges. So last semester, it looked like most people were on campus or off campus, but in Boston still. A lot of people, it looks like of the people taken in the survey, 1,400 or so were remote. And so it seems that even despite some people being inside or being in Boston, some people still took their classes fully remotely. This is kind of an interesting graph. The number is much closer than what it seems when it shows, but it does seem that the split was about 50-50 for last semester. Now, this is a breakdown of colleges and how they, I guess, attended BU. I'm not going to go through each and every one, but essentially asynchronous is red, and then being remote and synchronous and 100% remote is the blue and green. And there is variability from college to college, and there's various reasons for that. So the overall satisfaction with LFA, across the board, most people were somewhat satisfied and or neutral about LFA. There were a decent chunk, about 20%, that were somewhat or extremely dissatisfied, but the majority of students were neutral and above. So I did find that to be pretty interesting. And then this is the same data, but reiterated. So difficulties identified by modality. Essentially, students experience difficulties. Obviously, it was a bit more with remote but synchronous, and being 100% remote. That probably is, again, due to the same issues that the faculty highlighted at the time, where it's, whether it be access to, Wi-Fi or, getting in on time and being able to show up and be motivated to go to class, etc. Overall, students experience difficulty. It's about 50-50. Some did, some didn't. And that seems to be a common theme throughout this entire sort of survey that they did, was that it was very split down the middle in terms of how people were able to, I guess, perform in the LFA setting. It was about a 50-50 divide. Moving on, I wanted to actually skip a couple of these questions because it's just questions about how many classes you're attending. And I wanted to go to the more qualitative feedback and what the administration observed. So again, this is not my observations, this is the administration. And so I guess with administration perspective and what I've been told by Provost Kennedy is that students rate the in-classes experience the most satisfying and it being the least difficult, that along with asynchronous. They've found, and this is something they've told me as well, is that one of the things and one of the big reasons that BU is going back in person in fall is because of this survey data. So they believe that it's super important that we go back to having in-person classes, and they're going to try to push that heavily in the fall, from what I've been told. And it's based on the fact that this data, from what they've observed, is that the remote modalities aren't as fulfilling to many students and faculty. Now, this is open-ended response from students. I don't believe this is faculty wording, so I want to make that clear in terms of what is working well. I think a big key from my end in my department perspective, I think recorded lectures are huge. I like recorded lectures. I like being able to have the ability to go back. And I think that's something that could maybe stay in some format for the future in some sort of capacity with some sort of like regulation on it, of course, because I know that faculty, they don't want it to be like every week. Maybe there'd be like a buffer time period. And I do praise BU in terms of COVID safety from my opinion. Going forward, what is not working well, and again, it's a lot of the same things with the faculty that they mentioned. One thing that was interesting was suggestions for improvement. These are some of what students have said. I know there's been plenty of discussion with credit, no credit through Senate, et cetera, and students still seem to be wanting it. More tolerance and technology training from faculty, and that's in terms of maybe how they handle situations or how empathetic and sympathetic they are to students during this time. In terms of coordinating challenges and technical support, et cetera. There's a lot of improvements here that I think we can take away from and take a long, hard look at. And then for students who chose wholly remote, mostly these were the reasons: convenience, financial, personal reasons, and for international students, a travel ban. So that's all I had for the student report. Vinny, I can stop right now and take questions, or I can move on to my full department report. What do you prefer?
Let's have you finish the report, and then if we have any questions at the end, we'll take care of
I
all
can't
that.
hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
You guys can hear? I can't hear him. Try now. Okay, cool. I'll just keep going. Fuck it. Right. So department update. As soon as it loads again. Can you guys see my screen? Yes? Okay. Perfect. So essentially a summary again of what my department's done. I restructured it this year with a liaison format. So that's 9 undergraduate colleges with 9 teams. That number of 9 ended up being 6 by the end of this semester. We were able to successfully run those 6 teams and start long-term initiatives. We actually, I went back and counted, we started 22 separate initiatives across 9 undergraduate colleges. 12 of those, maybe like 12 to 14 of those are still active right now. I'm pretty proud of that number. I think that it's been a really good year in terms of the department starting these sort of long-term policy type initiatives with administration. I mean, I don't know any other department that's started 22 initiatives in a year. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm pretty proud of my department for being able to do that. And on top of that, we are able to establish these relationships with the provost, with the hub council, with administration in different colleges. And I hope whoever the next director may be, I can help them just transition very smoothly into the next year. And I hope that they continue our work. Now, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what every college has done. So every senator can take a look and see what's going on in their college. So I'll start with CAS. So CAS has 4 initiatives currently going on. The first being a syllabus archive. So last year, they were planning on creating not student government, like the administration, were actually planning on creating a syllabus archive for the entire university. This was dropped due to COVID because of staffing issues, and they were going to hire somebody to take up this position and role, but they dropped it due to COVID, so we took it up. And this was an idea proposed by one of my CAS senators, and we're going to start with CAS, and it seems that the progress made on this is quite a bit, actually. Dean Bizup in CAS is looking at implementing this first in a trial run with one department this semester, maybe, or next semester. And then after that, they're considering implementing it for the entire school, and then they'll try to look at the university. And on top of that, they're hoping to integrate it within the new Student Link system, if possible. And so that way, whenever you register for courses, when you're clicking on a class, you'll have access to all of its old syllabus and syllabi. So that way you can understand how the courses ran and what's involved within the course. Additionally, the Language Link professional development initiative, that's where we're sort of taking the Language Link program that currently exists within CAS, and we're sort of, adding on a more professional development experience with that. So an example right now is the medical school has actually contacted us and is wanting to get students who are in or planning to go in the realm of healthcare and medicine, and they want to give them active language learning like experiences through the Language Link program. And so this is just the start of one thing that we want to do with this program. I know we've had other ideas of incorporating study abroad. So if you want to go study abroad, maybe you can meet up with a student who has already went abroad, like in France or something, and you can like learn the language through them and learn what you need to know, that kind of idea behind it, sort of molding the program to actually make it more useful upon graduation. Additionally, after that, we are looking at standardized advisor review forms. And that's like essentially when you review your advisor, this is something that we're partnering with the administration with, is it would be a student government advisor review form. It would be standardized across all of CAS. And this is an attempt that's been going on within the university as a whole. Laura Johnson, the provost of advising, she is trying to find ways to make advising much more holistic and much more standardized across the university, and we're trying to help with that. And then increased history courses on this perspective of underrepresented minorities and groups. This is a survey that we conducted within the Department of History because they were interested in potentially adding more courses. And this discussion actually, this is finished for this year because they are going to meet in June about the potential of adding new courses. So for the year, we've actually finished this initiative. CGS. So we conducted a survey in CGS about a couple issues, including gap semester, the common application for CGS and its curriculum. Now, what was the most interesting finding for our report is that according to our results, about 50% or 60% of CGS students unintentionally apply to CGS. Now, what I mean by unintentionally apply is there's a checkbox on the common application that says, are you willing to be considered for the CGS London program? And a lot of people check yes, and a lot of people then end up going into CGS, not the college they ended up choosing. And that's because they either did not know enough about the program, or from our student responses, it's something like you click the checkbox, it says you can go to London, yeah, let's go. But they don't actually intend or want to come into the program. And so we've actually spoken with the director of admissions this year, and he is considering adding more events for students coming into CGS so that they know, what the program is, and they can really understand the decision they're making. And he's actually considering making changes to the common application where it sends you to a different application link like that of the Honors College. So that way there's no confusion between who actually wants to be considered for CGS versus who may have accidentally or unintentionally clicked that checkbox. And then there was an inactive initiative due to the fact that administration sort of turned it down or answered our questions sufficiently. In Shaw, we're developing an online platform for Shaw students. This is still very much in the works. The idea behind this is that this is going to create a type of social media platform maybe for Shaw students to get together on and sort of build that community vibe that my liaison feels Shaw has lost through COVID. CFA, unfortunately, we lost our liaison for this position due to personal reasons, but they were pushing for more interdisciplinary focused curriculum. They did make a decent bit of progress, and I hope whoever takes on this position next year can continue it. Sergeant, we had a little bit of hurdles with this. We're about to get our survey distributed by administration after being told we won't get it distributed by administration, after being told we would get it distributed by administration. And so, a lot of back and forth from admin there. But essentially what we're doing is a survey on the discussion of racial inequities in courses and the understanding of that students have on the academic resources provided by Sargent. And so once we have this survey data, we're going to meet with the deans, and then from there, we're going to hopefully start initiatives that will be continued on for the next Sargent team. Engineering, again, same thing. I had to let our liaison go due to personal reasons, and there was going to be discussion of adding more degree concentrations. This is an inactive initiative. COM, Improvement for Faculty Advisor Program. This is a finished initiative. Essentially, we got a commitment from the Dean of COM saying that there's going to be far more training for faculty advisors on how to handle faculty advising. So that's another initiative that we finished. Questrom, there was going to be changes to the core curriculum that we were going to propose, and private incident reporting. Now this would be something like the professor maybe saying or making comments within class that are inappropriate, and there being an incident reporting system where students feel safe to report these types of cases to admin. But Questrom team was the same thing as the CFA and Eng team. I was unable to keep them for the full year. And so those are inactive initiatives that I hope people continue on. WheeLock, we have one WheeLock liaison, and shout out to her. She actually was able to get the dean to want to do 4 initiatives, but unfortunately she's only one person. And so we are only doing 2 of them. One of them is the creation of a study abroad program, which is my favorite initiative personally. I think it's really cool that we are in discussions with starting a survey to gauge WheeLock feedback, and then hopefully they take it on, and within 2 years they can create a new program for the new WheeLock curriculum. And then instructional videos for students to self-advise. And then 2 inactive initiatives on improving mentorship program and alumni networking. So essentially, in conclusion, I think the structure of the department has been very well. The relationships we started have been very strong, and that despite the early hurdles we had in the first semester where we didn't really get much done, a lot of the initiatives have been gaining steam, and I've been told by multiple administration that as the next director comes into the department, they want to meet with them, they want to continue these initiatives, and that they don't want the momentum that's going on right now with the department to die down. And so with that, I'm sorry I spent a lot of time talking, but thank you for giving me all this time to talk. And there's my contact information, there's my office hours. And so does anybody have any questions?
Before we take questions, Arthon, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm just going to take this moment as chair to say that is one of the best reports that I have ever seen in my 4 years here. That was extremely well done. That was in-depth. That was thorough. It at no point felt like any of the information. I was listening to every single bit of that. So amazing job, man. I just want to make sure, sincere congrats. The work that you guys have done is absolutely amazing, and I do hope it continues next year. Now, going into questions, I'm gonna allot initially 15 minutes for this just because of how much this covered, if we need that much time. So starting off, Sandra Hagee.
I want to echo what Vinny said. This is really great. Doing academic affairs is really impressive. I wanted to see if you could elaborate a little bit on the problems / work that was done on Sargent's advising.
Yes. Okay. So you want to know about Sargent's advising?
Yeah, kind of just elaborate on the understanding of academic resources.
Oh, yes. So we met with Heather Nicholson, who is sort of the head of the freshman seminar and kind of does a lot of everything within the college, and in terms of getting freshmen accommodative and really leading and putting out all the resources for them to prepare for their 4 years. And so what we're essentially asking in our survey is we're kind of asking freshmen, how is their faculty advisor, and we're also asking juniors and seniors, how is their faculty advisor sort of helped them, through their 4 years in terms of planning. And then also we list a bunch of resources that is available to them, and we're trying to gauge what of those academic resources, such as study centers and online resources that are put in terms of course planning and the hub planning is known by them. And the reason we're doing that is because Heather had told us that she's always advertising this stuff, but she never actually knows if students are using it, or what's being overdone, what's being underdone. And so that's kind of what we're gauging at.
So, sorry, just to clarify, does Sargent have only faculty advisors, or do they also have like dedicated advising staff?
They have both. There's like pre-med advising, and then there's faculty advisors. So we ask about faculty advisors and then just general advising resources.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Senator Dye.
Yeah, I had two questions. The first was with regards to the surveys that the administration sent out to undergraduate students. I remember that a few professors raised concerns that the initial round of surveys didn't do a great job of distinguishing between students who wanted to like come on campus for like any sort of reason, not just like going to classes in person, and people who like specifically wanted to come on campus to go to classes in person. Was that resolved in later surveys?
I believe it was. Let me go back. So you're asking people who were on campus but still attending classes remotely. Is that what you're?
Yeah, like the surveys that were initially sent out with regards to like student experiences didn't really clarify like the reasons students had for coming on campus.
Yes,
Right, like
I don't think they asked about why students came on campus. They only asked why students stayed off. And I believe that is. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
I'm just wondering, like, because there were multiple surveys sent out about this, right? So I was just wondering if it was resolved in a later survey or not.
I
Or if
don't
like the
have that
administration
answer.
is like aware of this.
I don't have that answer, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe it has been, but not to my knowledge, I guess.
Okay.
Sorry, I wish I had an answer for you.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of I'm sure it's like a lot of stuff going on in the department, and you can't like track down like every single like detail. The other question I had was with regards to the CASARI demands that we endorsed last semester. I'm just wondering how much that's informed like the initiatives that you've taken across different colleges, but especially in CAS, and like what the success of like implementing those has been, if you've like considered them at all.
You're talking about the CASARI demands. You're gonna have to remind me what those were.
Yeah, we endorsed a list of, I believe, 12 demands last fall. Some of them have already been met, some of them haven't. Like the first one, for example, was appointing an anti-racist action team within CIS, which sort of already happened. And then there's some that were like less like measurable, you know, like hiring more like non-white faculty and things like that.
Yeah, so in terms of the one you just mentioned, in terms of non-white faculty, that is something that we've actually brought up to a couple administrators, and particularly I think in CAS and Sargent were the two, and that's mostly also because they had initiatives focused on those perspectives. Within CAS, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but Dean Skleroff was talking about his review process in terms of how they hire and the, I guess, proper diligence they do when taking a hiring process. And I would urge you to, and again, like I don't have like materials that I can share with you by any means, but from my perspective, it seems that CAS as a department, at least CAS, I can't speak for the other departments because I haven't spoke with them, has been doing a decent job, and they have and they told us, they told my department and my team while we were at that meeting that they are committed to hiring more diverse faculty. It's just that hiring right now is very slow. They've only added, I think they said they added only 2 or 3 positions this year. And as it picks up, their goal is looking long-term over the next 3 to 4 years. And so I urge senators who are maybe sophomores to get on this and, you know, go talk to your dean, you know, kind of go ask them like, what is your plan for the next 2 to 3 years? And you can follow up with them. You can follow up with them every 6 months or so. It's what I do when I have these initiatives, is I'm always following up and seeing what the progress is. So I guess that's part of your question answered. In terms of other things, I think that my department tries its best to look at diversity when thinking about a lot of our issues, and I hope that we have been doing that and not ignoring that as a thing, especially given the time we're in right now. And that's why we have started and are having those discussions despite any pushback that we've received from faculty in the history department and faculty in Sargent. So.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. Vinny, do you mind if I ask just one last question?
Go right ahead.
You mentioned CS is currently working on increased history courses on underrepresented perspectives. I think one aspect of the Kasari demands that is often overlooked is that they also want sort of like curriculum material on racial bias in STEM classes as well to be introduced. I was wondering if you had any updates on that.
Yeah, so that would be kind of lumped in with the Sargent initiative, and that's what we were hoping to do. Is the questions we're asking in the Sargent survey are essentially, we're asking anybody sophomore and above, you know, how much obviously would you have benefited from that discussion in courses, and we're kind of cracking down on what courses provide, you know, discussions of racial inequities in healthcare, et cetera. And so we're hoping to add and have a longer, more you know, thoughtful discussion on it with the deans soon. But definitely, if you want, get in contact with me after this, and maybe we can talk about things that I can mention in that meeting, because we still have to meet with the dean of Sargent at the end of the year. So, you know, if there's anything you want to be said specifically in that STEM area, I mean, I know it's not Eng either, and there are some still STEM departments that would be left out of this meeting, but Sargent is a huge STEM college. It is actually all STEM. So it would be good to catch up, and maybe we can come up with an agenda together.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Going once, going twice. Oliver.
Just want to say great job. That was incredible. All
Thanks,
24 minutes, I was paying attention very closely.
It was 24 minutes.
Yeah.
And I told them I'd keep it under 20.
You got the 19. I was like, this guy's not staying under 20, because I think by the time you get the 19, you were still in CAS. So I was like, I'm just gonna let this go. This is too good information for everyone to pass up. But again, genuinely amazing job with all of this, and I look forward to seeing what you guys all do in the future, and especially in these last couple weeks.
Yes, I'm super excited, and I think we're coming back again next week. So hopefully I have a.
Oh yeah, so we'll see you next week then.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't know, probably not much more of an update next week, but I'll try my best.
All right.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna take you off of there, and then I'll bring up my slides again. All right, so while I go through all this, so also at the end of the slides, there's a quick appendix there, and again, I will just leave this up for a couple seconds, just in case anyone wishes to have Arthur's email and office hours. If you need any of this as well, just feel free to email me or him. I'll put the email in the chat. All right. Moving on to the Representation Oversight Committee. So whoever is speaking first on this, the floor is yours to provide any updates or additional details.
I can go first. We don't have any updates or additional details. I've prepared an amendment bill. I think I sent that over to Vinny if you want to drop that in. That kind of shows you guys, you know, if this does pass, where it would go in the student government, student senate bylaws.
Yeah.
And I will give the rest of the time to Sammy or to Savannah or Noah or whoever else has any thoughts.
I think we covered everything last week. I'm not in the mood to take up your guys' time listening to my voice. If we want, that's Vinny's to move into motions.
Or to move into questions. Yeah, we're ready for your guys' questions. Now that you've had a time to think about it.
All right, so we're going to first move into a Q&A period for 10 minutes. If anyone has any questions, I'll give you all a sec to read through the bill. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'll give you about a minute or so until I start closing out the chat for question period.
Oh, Mattis, I've had cold brew today.
You what?
I had cold brew.
What is having cold brew not a normal thing?
Well, I had extra cold brew.
Gotcha. Senator Noel.
Yeah, I love this proposal. Do you guys have, considering like the shortness of the rest of the year, do you have like a timeline for when you want to elect the chairs? Because don't they have to get confirmed by Senate, or do they not have to get confirmed? And again, we're in a picky question because I love this proposal and I think it's a great idea.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so our timeline is if this passes today, I will literally send out an email for or I'll send out an email or a text in the Slack. We'll talk about the best channels to get this out, but we'll set up a time for our first committee meeting, hopefully this week. And so that next week, like this week, we can meet as an initial committee, nominate a chair or sorry, 2 chairs within the committee meeting, and then ideally come before Senate next week to be confirmed. So yeah, that's our timeline.
We're going to work our hardest to make sure that we get this staffed and then so that it's up and functioning not only for the rest of the semester, but also starting off strong next year.
Any additional questions? Going once, going twice. All right, and with that, I'm going to close out the Q&A period and open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Faruqi.
I move to enter voting procedure on amending Bill 4.
Second.
All right, with that, we have a second. We are looking for a supermajority here. Please raise your hands in the chat. Again, we are looking for 29 votes. If you are proxying for someone and you are a senator, please message me the senator you're proxying for vote or both of your votes if you are not raising your hand. Okay. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
I have a supermajority.
All right, with that, the motion passes. We are now in voting procedure. And open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Faruqi.
I move to vote on amending Bill 4.
Second.
All right, so with that, we are moving into a vote. That's a simple majority. All senators, including proxies, please raise your hands in the chat if you wish to vote in favor of this motion. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
Yep, I have a simple majority.
All right, so with that, we're now going to move into the vote. Mr. Vice Chair, if you could put the link to the voting form into the Slack. If anyone does not have access to it, please private message me and I will send it to you. Just a note to all of you that creation of a standing committee / amending the bylaws does require a supermajority vote to pass.
The voting form is in the Slack for everyone. Wait, is that the right Slack? Yeah, no, it's in the Slack.
All right, I'll give it a minute and a half starting now.
Vinny, I'm having trouble voting. Can I just send you my vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we got about 10 more seconds. All right, and with that, I'm going to close the voting form. And with 36 votes in the affirmative, congratulations, the amendment passes and the Representation Oversight Committee is created.
Thanks, everybody. Woo!
All right, with that, I skipped through the slides. Open forum. If anyone has anyone they wish to bring up, you know the drill. Raise your hand, I'll call on you. CUOC Chair Bale. That's weird not calling you Senator Bale.
It's fine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hello, everyone. A long time no see in a Senate meeting. I just wanted to drop in, as you've all probably have seen on the Daily Free Press. As of the 21st, the CUOC began its investigation into F It Won't Cut It. Today, we have released our survey, to which, Vinny, I'm going to send to you in the chat, so that could be dropped into Slack and sent to all the senators. That would be greatly appreciated. We would like this to get out as soon as possible. This is an inquiry very much into the truth and into just some different inquiries and questions that we have all had. I did catch a little bit at the beginning of Senate this evening as to President Poore sending out the form for questions through Dean Battolino. We are looking into some additional inquiries as well, not so much as an accusatory fashion, but just as a matter of finding out what's going on. So that's all we have at the moment. I'm hoping to make an appearance in Senate within the next 2 weeks before the semester is out to give some additional committee updates. That is all. Thank you.
Mr. Vice President.
Hello, everyone. I hope we're doing well. Luckily, I'm able to, at least be here because Cabinet was able to finish up, and I always love at least seeing some directors take part. Again, I hope everyone's doing well. My main reason for being here right now is just to push and just to emphasize a few things. One is that we are having a Valorant tournament. I don't know if anyone knows what Valorant is, but it's a game. It's a computer game that people play. I could tell you a lot about it, or you could just talk to me later. But basically, there's a tournament coming up on April 10th. It's going to be taking place at Balance Patch, which is right next to West Campus. It's literally just once you walk in between Star and West Campus, or yeah, in between Star and West. If you know anyone who's interested, if you know any players, if you know any other people who might want to, find out more, please let me know. Currently, I've been in communication with the BU Gaming Club. I've been in communication with the BUCS community as well, both through Discord as well as email as well as Zooms. But if you just have a friend who goes to BU who plays Valorant, or whether it's one person or a team, either thing of the sort, we're just looking to drive participation. So please, please, please send them my way. I believe everyone should have my email. If not, I'm sure someone, or I'll send it to Vinny to put in the chat later and do something of the sort, or just text me. People should have my number. I don't know, I'm a pretty friendly face. I'm a pretty friendly guy, I think. So just let me know, guys. But thank you, much love. And I hope everyone's doing well. And it's busy. Times are tough, I think. But if everyone can always take a moment, reflect, think about the good things and make it through the next day, then we're each gonna win. Much love. Peace.
Senator Faruqi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all probably saw, Cabinet applications closed this past week. We were really pleased to get over 30 applicants. We got 36 folks who applied, which is more than I believe we had last year. And we had a great mix of applicants from every single school and college. Every single position got multiple applicants, at least 3 per department. The most popular to apply for was the events department with 9 applicants, followed by, I believe, the social advocacy department. And we also got applicants who are rising sophomores, rising juniors, and rising seniors. So we feel very confident about our pool. We'll make final decisions likely by the end of this week or next week, and then we'll of course be bringing them for confirmation in the coming weeks as well. If anyone has any questions about the cabinet application process or the confirmation process, I would love to take them.
If anyone has questions, unless you are Sanders, Dye, Teplinsky, or Director Bott, just raise your hands, I'll call on you. If you're any of the three I just mentioned, just go ahead. All right, seeing none, I think we're all good. Hassan, if you want to send me, oh, is that someone raising their hand? Andrea, you asking a question or just raising your hand for Q?
Just raising my hand.
Okay. All right, so Hassan, send me your email. I can drop that in the chat if anyone else has any additional questions. Senator Dye.
I'm sure everyone remembers Divest. We endorsed their demands earlier this semester, and this Wednesday they're having a panel on environmental racism. They're inviting a lot of great activists across Boston from organizations like Take Back the Grid and Uprooted and Rising and lots more. So please show up. You will learn a lot and they will be eternally grateful.
Senator Teplinsky, good to see you.
Hi. Something a lot of you may not know about is that I'm a part of a Greek organization, a social Greek called Sigma Chi. Next week, we are also hosting with 7 other amazing fraternities and sororities, BU Derby Days. It's kind of like Sigma Chi's like trademark event. All the funds are going to, the majority of the funds are going to the Huntsman Cancer Institute. And the Greek Lives are competing for first and second place, with 25% going to their organization philanthropy and second place 10% going to their philanthropy. So like you might get bombarded with like a ton of different posts. It's open to the BU public. We have casino night, game night. Really would love to see some like StuGov members show up. It's taken 4 months to plan. So it's a really heavily involved BU community event. So if you have any questions, please follow BU Derby Days on Instagram.
Director Bott.
Yeah, so mine's just going to be a little bit quick. I just wanted to plug the department for anybody who thought that the report was interesting today. I wanted to just say that the department has been doing a lot of good work, and that I do really think that a lot of the initiatives that we started will be continued, and there's plenty of room to start new ones. Hopefully the next director will be pretty good at time management, and they can handle more than 12 or 13 initiatives. So I mean, I think that anybody, specifically people in Questrom, engineering and CFA, if you're interested, those positions are completely open. You can either take up what the past liaisons did, or you can start from scratch. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities within this department. And so for those who are very passionate about academic issues on campus, I urge you next year to consider joining the department.
Chief Justice Gomez.
Awesome, thank you. So just wanted to go off of something related to next year's, like applications for next year's judicial branch. If you follow student government social media, which you should, and I hope you do, you probably saw that the elected e-board is taking applications for justice positions. So if you want to be considered, make sure you submit the application, or if you know anyone who might be interested, just encourage them to apply. But that being said, I just wanted to make myself available for anyone who wants to meet and talk about the work we do in judicial. So feel free to reach out to me or any of the other justices via email. Vinny just sent our student government email in the chat. But if you have my phone number, or like if you have me on Facebook or Slack, feel free to reach out in whatever medium works for you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions about that, feel free to let me know.
All right, and then before I open it up to any points of motions, again, just a quick reminder to all of you, if you are considering running for Senate Chair next year, send your email over to the justices ASAP so that they can include you in the initial email that's going to be sent out after the meeting. Though again, a reminder, you do have up until the start of next Senate meeting to declare your intent. With that, is there anything else that people wish to address today? Seeing nothing, I will open the floor to points or motions. Senator Aracena.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right, looking for supermajority hands. As always, raise your hands in the chat if you're looking to vote in the affirmative. I wonder how many times I have said that by this point this year. Wish there was an easy way to go and track that. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
By an overwhelming amount, Mr. Chairman.
All right, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. I see Arthon, you voted. Have a good night, everyone. I will see you all next week.